Minor adjustments is dedicated to preventing and reducing crime. Our primary purpose is to teach men or women how to make the minor adjustments that are necessary in their lives, which will allow them to obtain and maintain a productive lifestyle after incarceration and or rehabilitation. Our motto is anywhere but backwards. Everybody say anywhere but backwards. The words in that mission statement, it says to obtain, and the other one is maintain. Listen to me. To obtain means to come into the possession of something. Maintain means to keep it in existence. Listen, the reason why I say that, everybody say to obtain my sobriety is easy. To obtain my sobriety is easy. Our challenge is to maintain it. Say to obtain our sobriety is easy. To obtain our sobriety is easy. Our challenge is to maintain it. To attain our sobriety is easy. Our challenge is to maintain it. Welcome everybody to the Minor Adjustments virtual group. My name is Michael Mickey Williams Jr. Minor adjustments. Our motto is anywhere but backwards. I love to hear the mission statement because the mission statement lets us know that to attain our sobriety is the easy part. Our challenge is to maintain it. So first we're going to look at, we're going to want to put the link to anybody who would try to purchase any of the Minor Adjustments books. We have a host of books. I want to put that in the comment section for you guys. Put that in there. I also like to put in there if anyone would like to become a Minor Adjustments facilitator. We now have online courses that you can take. You register for the course, you take the course, you get a certified, accredited certified certificate. Yes, that's right. The course is an accredited course. You can get an accredited certified certificate for the Minor Adjustments group facilitators course. And what else I would like to put in the comment section for you guys? I want to also let you know it's on the screen to go to minoradjustments.org. And you can look at a host of things that we have available for anybody struggling with any strongholds, any substance use disorder or criminal lifestyle, any type of issues that you need to be helped in those areas, life skills, rehabilitation skills, motivational interviewing, everything. We cover it all during the Minor Adjustments training. All right. So let's see what we got here. So today, our particular lesson will be the introduction to the workbook that we'll be going over. The workbook we'll be going over will actually be this particular workbook. We're going over this book, and for a host of lessons we do out of here. So we're going to go all the way back to the beginning of the workbook. There are actually 8 lessons that we can do from this workbook. And also, I also want to mention, we also have another workbook, which is the facilitators workbook, which is this particular workbook. And that workbook has secondary lessons that you can use for your that'll go along with this book. So you got lessons in this book that are 8 weeks that you can do lessons from. And then you also have lessons in this book, which are secondary lessons that complement the first book. I was blessed to create all this curriculum for individuals because there's a lot of different things that we need to go over and to learn in the process of our recovery, sobriety, or deliverance, or whatever terminology you would like to use. Okay, so let's see. Let's go back to book number 1, and our title of the lesson today is the introduction, the minor adjustments introduction. But let's look at what we just was going over in the introduction. Let's look at that. Let's look at the mission statement. Here we are. It says minor adjustments is dedicated to preventing and reducing crime. Our primary purpose is to teach men or women how to make the minor adjustments that are necessary for their lives, which will allow them to obtain and maintain a productive lifestyle after incarceration and or rehabilitation. Our motto is anywhere but backwards. Now, these two words, obtain and maintain. Let's look at page 6. It says to obtain means to come into the possession of something. To maintain means to keep something in existence. What that simply means is once you obtain your sobriety, once you obtain your deliverance, once you are free from the area where you have been having your struggle, you do not have to continue to go get free from that again. The challenge now is to maintain the sobriety or the freedom that you have obtained. Remember, obtain means to come into the possession of something. Maintain means to keep it in existence. Let me use my own personal life as a demonstration. In August 2009, I had obtained my sobriety, or I had received my deliverance from drug and alcohol and criminal lifestyle, right? So once I obtained my deliverance from all of those things in August 2009, I did not have to go obtain my deliverance in August 2010. I simply needed to maintain what I had came into the possession of. So I had to develop my spiritual development. I had to develop my life skills. I had to develop my relapse prevention skills. I had to create a recovery support network. I had to develop my family support network. All of those things were included in maintaining my sobriety. August 2024, which is this month, right? I'm celebrating 15 years since my deliverance from August 2009. But I didn't have to do it every year. I simply had to maintain it. That's why in the mission statement, when it says, let me go back a page, to obtain and maintain a productive lifestyle after incarceration and or rehabilitation. The reason why I had to put that in the particular curriculum is because I realized that, wait a minute, I was able to get off drugs. When I went to jail, I wasn't using drugs. When I went to program, I wasn't using drugs. But as soon as I was released, I went right back to using drugs. So I realized getting off wasn't actually my problem. It was staying off that I had the problem with, which is a lot of individuals. But I never put any effort or any emphasis on staying off. So that means to maintain something. To come into the possession means to obtain. To keep something in existence means to maintain. I pray you understand that, all right? So let's see what we got. We're going to be talking about we're going to be doing an introduction. Let's go to page. I'll start on page. Yeah, let's start here. Okay, each group, I have an expectation for the group. My expectation is grab hold of, everyone will grab hold of the concept of learning by repetition. Let me explain this right now. The minor adjustments program, we created it in 2013, around 2013. Now, since 2013, I have been teaching this same curriculum. Watch this. Repetitiously. I have constantly been teaching the same lesson. I tell people all the time while I'm going through this workbook, while I'm teaching the lessons for individuals to be able to glean some life skills, relapse prevention skills, or some spiritual development from the lessons, I'm actually gaining some for myself. So while I'm teaching it to individuals, while I'm presenting to individuals, it's also helping me maintain what I obtained in August 2009. I said all that to say this. You have to grab hold of the concept of learning by repetition. Some individuals can get things just like that, but sometimes we have to learn by repetition. And the more we use the repetition, the more we recite it, and the more we go through it, it becomes a part of who we are. It becomes part of our DNA, similar like anywhere but backwards, right? So anywhere but backwards have become a part of me. Like that's just how I function and how I live my life now. In certain areas, I focus on not going back to some of the things where I made mistakes. So everyone will grab hold of the concept of learning by repetition. Now, somebody you might be connected to they may not need to do repetition to learn something. But I'm telling you, you have to learn by repetition, because when you're coming from a lifestyle that we previously lived, We have been doing it for a long period of time. So if we've been doing what we used to do for a long period of time, we cannot assume that in one day this is going to happen, this is going to change, and everything just going to be smooth and peaches and cream. You have to learn by repetition. Let me see what else we got. All right. Now, Mr. Williams, when I first wrote my book, Pushed Out the Crack House into God's House, little did he realize that it would be used for other things. Pushed Out the Crack House was his life message that he has shared everywhere he was asked to speak. This workbook is put together with much prayer and heart searching. The purpose of this workbook is to teach you how to allow your past to push you into your destiny. Good God Almighty, man. And one of the things that I often try to teach my clients, my participants, and everybody, let me back up for a moment. For 22 years of my life, when I struggled with crack cocaine and heroin, but today I'm a certified drug and alcohol counselor, a nationally certified peer recovery support specialist. The reason why I'm mentioning that right now is because I want individuals to understand, instead of allowing your past to cripple you, to paralyze you from all the wrong you did, it's possible to use your past to actually push you into your destiny. In order for you to allow your past to push you into your destiny, you're going to have a different perspective about what you've been through in your life. The perspective has to be changed. If you have the perspective that because you did what you did previously, you can no longer succeed going forward, then it's possible that you won't succeed. But if you have the perspective that I am not going to allow where I made my mistakes to hinder me, I'm going to allow my mistakes to actually push me, then you'll be able to go very far because your perspective has changed about the things that you have done in your life. So you got to understand the purpose of this workbook is to teach you how to allow your past to push you into your destiny. The term crack house represents a broken place or a broken person. The term God's house represents something greater. God's aim is to try and take the brokenness that you have inside and use it to push you into something greater. I have to understand, and I have to pull over, pause, and part right here for a moment, because I haven't always realized or learned how to use my past to push me into my destiny. But I had to allow God to help me process things differently and change the perspective about my life. And he's able to use the brokenness that I was feeling due to neglecting of my children, not having to be in my children's life, constantly leaving the city to go to jail, to go to rehabilitation centers. It was impossible to build relationships with children because you're constantly leaving them. But at the same time, you can feel bad about not being there for them, even though you were struggling with what you have been struggling with. But the brokenness that you have can be used to push you if you change the perspective about things that you have been doing in your life. Now, I'm not telling you that you're going to master it right off the bat, but I'm telling you, I'm teaching you, I'm telling you from personal experience that if you constantly use it to push you, you'll be able to get further in life instead of letting it cripple you and think that since you did those things, you're not able or you're not worthy to do something better in your life. All right. So let's move forward. Next. It says, this is important, Mr. Williams' qualification. Watch this. A qualifier. 22 years inside prisons, county jails, halfway houses, and rehabs. Substance use disorder, addiction from the age of 16 to the age of 38. Watch this. Repeated failure after failure after failure. Now watch this. I remember when I was talking to a professor at a college and he was looking at the book briefly and he happened to look at the part where I said, it says my qualification. And he says, I have never seen anybody write on a resume or put in a book as a qualifier, repeated failure after failure after failure. And the reason why I put repeated failure as a qualification is because your failures has to become your mentors. You learn, when I'm talking to some of my clients and they ask me this question, when they're going through a great ordeal in their life, excuse me, and they face with these difficult situations, and I take them through treatment plan, recovery management plans, or whatever we come up, what's agreed upon that we create. And I tell them, well, that situation which you had on your plan, on your paper, won't work. They always ask me, how you know that won't work, Mr. Williams? And I said, because I got repeated failure after failure after failure of that same thing you have written on your paper, and it's not going to work, right? So repeated failure after failure has actually become my qualifier. I'm saying that to say this. Some of the things that you have experienced in your life, if you seem like you have been repeating them, it's possible you're not getting the lesson out of it. Oh man, listen to me. If you're if you find yourself repeating something over and over, more than likely you're not getting a lesson out of it. You can always tell. Listen to me, this is free. I'm not even going to charge you for this. You can always tell when someone, man or woman, has learned from some failure. And the proof that they learned from the failure is they won't repeat it. As long as I kept repeating the cycle of my failure in my life, is because I didn't learn what I needed to learn from the failure. But the repeated failure is actually becomes your qualifier once you learn what you need to learn by going through those repeated failures. Some of us have been dealing with, you might be dealing with a situation in relationships, and you keep selecting or keep connecting with similar types of people, male or female, whichever way, right? You connect with the same type of people, and those relationships aren't working out. Now, you might think, well, that's the type of person I like. Well, you haven't been successful with those type of people. So it's possible that the person or the people that you think you might like might not be the individuals you need in your life, because the failure is trying to get you to see you might need somebody else in your life. Now, that's free. I told you, I'm not going to charge you for that. But listen to me. Repeated failures after failures after failures have to become your mentors. These repeated failures are located in the book under my qualifications. The repeated failures becomes your qualifier. You're now able to use, watch this, you're able to use the areas you failed in. Now you're able to use it to teach it to individuals. Literally what I'm doing right now. That was my previous qualifications. My present qualifications are, I'm a graduate of American Colony of Mercy class of 2010. I'm a minister at Glory Tabernacle Church. I'm a certified, nationally certified peer recovery specialist. And I'm also a drug and alcohol counselor. And I'm also a 10-time published author. Watch this. This is all after I obtained my sobriety. Watch this. Let me go back. Remember, I said to attain my sobriety is easy. My challenge is to maintain it. All of those things was after or in the process of me maintaining my sobriety. I'm telling you that because it's the same way with you. There are none of those things that I list as my present qualifications what's anywhere written down on my vision board, my plans, my diary, my devotion. I had none of it written down. All of those things came into my life after I started the process of not going back. So that's why anywhere but backwards is very important to you, just like it was for me. Now, you might not go become an author. You might not become a recovery coach. I suggest you do it. You might not become a drug and alcohol counselor, right? You might not even become a minister at a church. I'm not saying that you have to do those things. But I am saying this, if you do not go back to the life that you previously used to live with your substance and your criminal lifestyles and all of those things, I guarantee it that there is a host of things available to you that you'll be able to do that you don't even have written down. I'm telling you that your life will shock yourself. if that sounds right. You will even be amazed. So let's look at this. The things you read in this workbooks have been accumulated over the years of his incarceration and addiction, not to mention the numerous life lessons he learned from others. I have to inform you right now that we will be dealing with a lot. This is one of my favorite words, simplicity. In this workbook, experts say that the average person is now bombarded with 35,000 messages a day, emails, text messages, billboards, televisions, radios, Twitter, Facebooks, blogs, etc. Yes, you read that right. It's information overload. People don't need more information. They need to learn how to apply the information they already have. Listen to me. Let me tell you something. One of my clients, I was doing an individual session with him. And he has been very fluent, very familiar with the addiction field. And he has been in multiple programs, had multiple counselors, been in prison, in and out of prison and all of that, just like me. So I'm not judging them. I'm telling you a story. Stay with me. While I'm doing the individual session and I'm trying to give him some dialogue or try to help counsel him to help him start the process of his recovery walk, right? He says, Mr. Williams, listen, man, all the stuff you telling me, I know all that stuff. I looked him square in his face, looked him dead in his eyes, and I said, sir, I know you know all this stuff. I'm trying to get you and teach you how to use what you already know. So it's not that you need more information. You need to learn how to apply the information that you already have. I'm telling you, and I can guarantee you this. No one knows you better than you outside of God. You know you better than you. Now, you need to learn how to apply the information that you already have. I'm telling you, there is no other devotions. There's no other book. There's no other message. There's no other course that you actually need. You can use all of these things to help you in the process that you're on. But everything you need to know, you already know by this time. The only problem you having from if you're just in an early stage of your recovery, and I'm on my 15th year, the only difference is you not start to apply the information that you already have. So no matter if you're in a facility now or you're home, don't give up. Just tap into what you already know. Don't try go. Let me go back. Look up here. You see the word and it's highlighted and it's bold. It says simplicity. Simplicity. I dare you to go look it up one day. Simplicity. Don't complicate it. Watch this. Anywhere but backward is very simple. It's a simple thing. 3 words. Anywhere but backwards. Watch this. The information you already have, what you know so far. I don't know what your age might be. I don't know where you at in your recovery walk. But what you know right now, if you apply it, right, it'll take you so far that you wouldn't even believe it. I got to go back some. Let me back up for a moment here. I'll come back to page 16. Let me look at, I think it's here. Let me see something. Hold on. All right. Let me see. I think I passed it. Bam. Look at this right here. Remember, I just was talking about if you apply what you know so far, right? What you know, what you are, keep it simple. What you already know about your drug use, what you already know about your criminal lifestyle, what you already know about relationships, what you already know about being a parent, what you already know about working, which just stay simple. I want you to just use what you already know. Watch this. The 3 words up top says information plus application equals destination. Normally, when I'm in the group setting, I ask the group, which one of those words do you think is the most important? And by a show of hands, some people will raise up and say information. Some would say application. Some would say destination. They will pick whatever, right? But I tell them all the time, All of those words are important, but the most important is the application. Because if I give you all this information and you never apply it to your actual life, you just are loaded with information and you will never reach your true destination. Watch this. You will reach a destination, but it won't be the outcome that you was looking for. So information plus application, meaning I'm going to take what I have and apply it to my life. One of the mentors that I had, he always, I used to go to this one particular program, and when I would go to the program, and I would always get the same counselor. And when I would come in the program, he would see me. How you doing, Mr. Williams? I say, I'm okay. Say, you back, huh? Yeah, man, I relapsed. I'm back. And he said, all right, I'm going to go grab my books and papers, and I'll meet you in the group. So he comes in with the same book and the same paper. Watch this. And I'm like, I'm looking funny. He says, why are you looking so funny? He says, you thought I was going to give you some new information? He says, no. I'm going to give you the same exact information I gave you when you was here the last 4 times in this rehab. He says, your problem is not the information. Your problem is you're not applying the information I'm giving you. So he says, I'm going to keep giving you the same information until you start applying it to your life. And guess what? Eventually, I started applying that same information that he gave me to my life, and I started to receive fruit that showed up in my life. It was simplicity. It's not rocket science. We complicated, but remember, information plus application equals destination. Watch this. Learning by repetition. So remember, I'm constantly going over the same thing I'm teaching you. I'm applying to my own personal life. Now watch this. Let's look at the top of this page. It says, if we can reach one person, let me see. No. People don't need more information. They need to learn how to apply the information they already have. Application. The reason why we are doing what we are doing is, as counselors, teachers, facilitators, or instructors, is because if we can use what we have been through to help stop someone from taking the same wrong turn we have taken early in our lives, if we can reach one man, one woman, one child, then we'll take it. And maybe that one individual will reach all the others that we couldn't reach. I pray I said that was slow enough. What that means is, I already am aware that there are a select group of people. Let me use a number of 40. If it's 40 individuals in the group for a mind adjustments group, I am aware that if I reach 10 of them, right, that's sufficient. I know it's 40 people in the group, but if I can help 10 of them, the other 30 might get reached by one of the 10 that I was able to reach. It does not necessarily have to be me or my wife. So I'm saying that to say this. If you're taking this minor adjustments course and you get in the books and you become a minor adjustments facilitators and all of that, right? If I can help encourage you, I can't worry about everybody. You might can reach the people who I couldn't reach, and that's okay, because I care about the destination. I care about them not having to be on the overdose list or dying, so to say, right? So whoever I can reach, I take them. I don't get frustrated to the ones who don't want to receive what I'm trying to teach them. I'm okay with that. That's okay, right? But the ones that I'm able to reach, they're the one that I'm supposed to reach. And possibly when I'm able to connect with you and you're able to receive some of the information that I'm presenting to you, and not only receive it, you apply it, then possibly you can reach those other individuals. I'm going to tell you one great thing that you can do that's beautiful is we all cause a lot of trauma, hell, chaos in our communities. Just think about going back to your community, creating programs or running groups and building up your community. Oh man, it's priceless. It's a priceless thing to help build up a community that you once was destroying. Woo! Let's read this here. Let me see. Okay. We want to share the good news with the poor. We want to heal the brokenhearted. We want to proclaim the liberty to the captives and the opening of the prison to those who may be bound. Watch this: spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, and sexually. Because a lot of times the substance part will override other individuals being in bondage physically, emotionally, sexually, or mentally. Because if the individuals, my wife says it this way, people could see what I struggle with, but they couldn't see what she struggled with. They could physically see that my struggle was what it was, right? But there is a lot of individuals in our world, in our society, that we walk past every day. They might look good, they might dress good, they might have it all together, apparently have it all together, but they might be in bondage sexually, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, and you never know it. This is why the minor adjustments program does not just focus on people who have a substance issue. We focus up on people who are honest, that are faced with all kinds of issues, because we're focused on healing and deliverance, actually, right? The whole minor adjustments platform or the program is focused on healing and deliverance. That's the crust of the minor adjustment program. Let's see what we got here. This workbook, let me see. This workbook is designed to inspire you, motivate you, and lead you to your true destination. This workbook is to empower you spiritually, mentally, and emotionally and relationally. This workbook is designed to go inside, watch this, programs, prisons, jails, halfway houses, rehabilitation centers, help homeless centers. This workbook is to go into all these places. This is the purpose why I created the curriculum. This is why God made me create this curriculum, to go back into the places. Watch this. The places where I once was. This workbook will help men and women obtain and maintain a productive lifestyle, to help men and women to make minor adjustments. The first thing that you will need to have for this process to begin to work, watch these words, is a willing mind. What do we mean by that? It's up to you to study each unit and make the necessary adjustments in life that you need and put them into actions. Mr. Williams started out drinking beer in the 6th grade and ended up smoking crack cocaine at 38 with other drugs in between, which is why he ended up on probation, then rehab, then parole, and then county jails, and eventually the state prison. Normally, those are the steps a lot of us took, and that's what you call a process. So there's no need to teach you how to go through a process. Why, Michael? Because you mastered that. But to get to your true destination, you must have a willing mind. If you follow the steps in these units, you will witness a transformed change of direction in your life. Each unit in this workbook represents one of those steps that will be a process that you have clearly mastered. Our focus is always about you. Our focus is always about you. And what we need you to focus on is how to allow your past to push you into your destiny. But remember, you must be willing to go anywhere but backwards. You must be willing to go anywhere but backwards. You gotta always remember that. Anywhere but backwards. And in closing, I would like to, there's a story about a man, this particular man. It's a story about a kid. I'm sorry. He was in the courtyard, and there was a bully in the courtyard, and the bully had a list of all the people that he can beat. And the list was going around, and all the kids was looking at the list. And this particular kid happened to get the list. He opened up the list and he noticed his name was on the list. So this kid went over to the big bad bully and he said to the bully, he says, hey man, you got a list going around of all the kids you can beat. And he says, yeah, I got a list going around of all the kids I can beat. So the kid said to the big bad bully, he says, you can't beat me. So the bully says, give me that list. Let me take your name up off on it. So I said all that to say this. The big bad bully is your drug addiction. And your addiction, whom I call the monster, is going around and it believes that it can beat you. But you have to make up in your mind that you're going to tell that big bad bully to take your name off his list, because drug addiction can't beat you. But you have to know that it can't beat you. In order for you to truly succeed and overcome that addiction, you can't go back to it. You are better and powerful than the addiction. The bully, the addiction, thinks it can beat you. But you got to tell that bully, take my name off your list, because you can't beat me. I'm going anywhere but backwards. To God be the glory. Today we just did an introduction of the Minor Adjustments Workbook. Next week we'll go into another lesson which I love to teach on, and it's called You Have a Purpose. Your purpose, there's a purpose in your past. Again, remember, the bully is going around and it thinks it can beat you because it keeps your name on the list. But you have the power to tell that bully, take my name off your list. I will not be on the list of a person that overdosed off of drugs, because you can't beat me. I'm not going back to it. So there's no way for me to overdose on something that I will no longer do. Take my name off that list. I hope you had a good lesson today. Remember, anywhere but backwards. You learn by repetition. Learning by repetition is not a bad thing, but all the information that you have exactly what you need to succeed. All you have to do is apply that information that you already are in possession of. To God be the glory. Minor Adjustments is dedicated to preventing and reducing crime. Our primary purpose is to teach men and women how to make the minor adjustments that are necessary in their lives, which will allow them to obtain and maintain a productive lifestyle after incarceration and or rehabilitation. Our motto is anywhere but backwards. God bless y'all. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Celebrate the holiday, and I'll see y'all next week. Thank you.